Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to the workshop of how to be a community advisor, now in Fund 7. This workshop is being presented by the Catalyst School. I'm going to share the screen and start the presentation. We expect this to take between 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And if you have any questions during the presentation itself, please don't hesitate. We are a small number of people here today, so you can just unmute yourself and ask whenever you want to. So during this session, we are going to cover the basics on how to be a community advisor. So if you don't know what is a community advisor, what does it take to act as a community advisor, what are the rewards, the compensation, you're going to learn about this today. Just before that, just talking very briefly about Catalyst School. We are a community project that started in Fund 5, and then in Fund 6 we hosted some workshops. These are our 4 main topics. First one is the introduction to Catalyst. Second one is proposing in Catalyst. Then how to be a community advisor, which is this one that we have today, and how to be a veteran community advisor afterwards. And we provide this information through some live sessions and workshops like this one, some also one-to-one and group multi-language support. There is a form. If you are following our channels in Discord and in Telegram, you might have seen this already. Also, we are developing a website with educational content about Catalyst. This was one of our funded proposals in Fund 6, so we are now building this, and we expect to have this ready for Fund 8. And also some other related workshops, for example, open source workshop, and also a mini proposal workshop, which is kind of a hands-on workshop on how to write good proposals for Catalyst. And if you want to connect with us, you can follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram and Discord groups, and also there are some other links here in this link tree for our YouTube channel, for example, with some recordings from previous sessions. There are some other educational videos. So, starting the presentation itself. I imagine that you are all familiar with Catalyst. Is there someone here who is participating in your first Catalyst fund? I mean, is Fund 7 your first time here, or have you been here before?
First time here.
You too, Curtis and Luke.
I've been in with Catalyst for probably 6 months, but mostly in an observation role.
Yeah, I've also been lurking, voting, but not getting as much time to commit to it and reading proposals and stuff. So I've come to this side to see what this CA is about.
Very good. This is good, especially because now, I mean, we always need more CAs because we are doubling funds doubling the budget actually every fund, almost doubling the number of proposals. So we need more CAs to be able to review properly, to assess properly actually all the proposals that we have. And I imagine that you know about this, but each cycle of Catalyst is divided in different phases. The first one is the insight sharing phase, and then we have 3 weeks for proposers to work on their proposals. First one to submit, second one to refine, and third one to finalize. And we are currently at the start of the finalizing week. So proposers have until next Thursday to do the last editing of their proposals. And then next Thursday, we are going to start to work as CAs. We're going to start assessing the proposals themselves. And we have 1 week time window to do this. So it's going to start next week, then going to end the other Thursday. I think it's the 16th of December, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, we have the assessment review by the proposers. The proposers are going to read all the assessments, and they can flag them if they think that they are not good for some reason. For example, if they are offensive, if it's clear that the CA didn't really read the proposal, it's, for example, too generic, or it's not at all related to the proposal itself, they can just flag the assessment, but not remove. It's just an indication for the veteran community advisors, the VCA, to pay attention to them in the following phase. So usually the review by proposers take 3 to 5 days. I think currently it takes around 5 days. And after that, the review by VCAs start, and they have approximately 10 days to review all the assessments by the CAs. And they are going to decide if the assessments are to be removed or if they are going to be approved and classified as good or excellent. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the following slides, but basically good assessments, actually excellent assessments are rewarded 3 times more than the good assessments. So it means that they are contributing more to the process itself, so they are rewarded more as well, 3 times more. And then after that, it's the governance phase, basically the community voting, when everyone that holds at least 500 ADA, they are able to vote in all the proposals. They can vote for, against, or doesn't vote at all for each single proposal. So they can decide if they're which proposals they want to see funded. Any questions so far? Yeah, Curtis.
So you said the proposal assessment, that first stage of the CAs, that starts next week. Did you say the 9th?
Yeah, the 9th. Yeah, at 11 UTC.
Okay, and then the expectation of CAs at that point is to assess the finalized proposals.
Yes, by then all the proposals are not going to be edited anymore. IDSQ is going to block the edit button for proposers. So you can, for example, start right now by reading the proposals, and if you think that it's ready already, if you think that the proposer is not going to modify anything after now, then you can start assessing them just to be ahead of time. Actually, a lot of people do this, but they read the proposal again afterwards to see if there's any difference, and they can adjust their assessments. But you cannot submit any assessments in IDSQ right now.
Okay, thank you.
So after all, what is a community advisor? A community advisor is just any member of the Catalyst community who is expected to assess the proposals. This is the main, actually the only action that the community advisors do actively to help the process. But by assessing the proposals, they provide feedback to the proposers on how they could improve for a following phase, for a following fund, actually. And also they support the community on deciding which proposals should be funded or not. And what is important to mention here is that the CAs are not responsible to decide who is going to be funded or not. They just provide some guidance to the voters after all. So if one proposal received 5 stars by the CAs, it doesn't mean that's going to be funded. The voters need to vote for it, or they can vote against it if it's something that they don't believe in, if they want to see funded. And everyone can be a community advisor. There are no requirements. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to hold ADA. You just have to sign up to IDScale. And starting it actually started yesterday, the sign up in IDScale. So if you sign up there, or if you log in there after yesterday, there's a pop-up that's going to show up, and there are 3 different questions there. First one, actually, there's one question that, asking you if you want to be a CA, and 3 options. The first one is not, I don't remember the order exactly, but one of them is yes, I want to be a CA. The other one is, and I understand the role. The other one is I don't want to be a CA. And the third one is I want to be a CA, but I'm also a proposer. And I understand that I cannot be a CA and a proposer in the same challenge. This is the only restriction on being a CA currently, is that you cannot propose and be a CA in the same challenge. If you do this, you are going to be removed. Your assessments are going to be removed from the process, because there is obviously a conflict of interest in this case, because you're going to be assessing either your own proposal or your competitors' proposals. So it's not fair to the process to do this. And I imagine that most of you already know IDScale. If not, I'm just opening here to show you. So this is the website. And if you want to, the pop-up appears here at the top when you enter the website. And you can go here into profile and check the answer to the question, just to be sure that you are properly registered to be a CA now in Fund7.
One thing to mention that also there are also 2 fields to fill in this pop-up, which are basically the one is the address, your ADA address. So basically the address that will be used to send you the rewards. And in this fund, there is also a ERC20 address requested, because there is a challenge, which is basically for the COTI, and the rewards will be not in ADA, but in COTI, only for that specific challenge. So basically you will see two additional fields in this pop-up.
Is that COTI reward for the CAs or for the voters or for the whole ecosystem?
Basically the whole Catalyst process will be applied for their specific challenge. So all the roles in the specific challenge will be rewarded in COTI. This is true for proposers, voters. I don't know for voters, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know as well.
But for sure for a community advisor and also for veteran community advisor.
Okay.
So coming back to the presentation. Any questions? Any other questions so far? Nope. Moving on. So some facts about being a CA. The first one is that CAs are anonymous. You are going to sign up in IDScale, and you are going to assess the proposals, but nobody is going to know which assessments are yours. Basically, you are going to be assigned an ID, an assessor ID, and all your assessments are going to be connected to your ID, but nobody is going to know the connection between your ID and your name or your email. So the main reason here is to avoid some kind of conflict between the proposers and the CAs if the proposers, for example, are not happy with your assessments. So this is basically the main idea behind the CA's anonymity. Another thing is that the CA scores cannot be seen by other CAs during the process. So you are not influenced by other CAs. You can know how many assessments were done already for that proposal, but not the scores that were given. And you can only know the number of assessments that were already provided for a specific proposal if you are using the CA tool. I'm going to show it in some minutes. And you also can choose which proposals you want to assess. you can choose the challenges and also the proposals. You don't need, for example, to assess everything. That's basically impossible, I would say, because there are currently more than 1,000 proposals submitted in Fund 7 already, and I think 25 different challenges. And for example, if you just pick some of these challenges to review the proposals there, you don't need to review them all as well. You can just, for example, just review 1 or 2 in one challenge and 2 or 3 in another challenge. There are no restrictions in this regard here. And this is good because if you don't have such a high technical background, you can try to avoid some very technical challenges such as developer ecosystem or dApps and integrations. You can just focus on, for example, multi-language community events, some other challenges that don't need that such a big technical background, or sometimes not at all, not even don't even need to know how to code or do anything like this to be able to assess the proposals.
I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So what is the number of proposals a CA is supposed to review, assess in a round? So is there like an average number of proposals that we are supposed to review, to assess?
No, actually, we only when we have, actually we don't know now, because we used to know the number of CAs by the start of the assessment week, but now everyone can sign up until the end of the assessment phase. So we cannot know the number of CAs and the number of proposals. So there is no goal, for example, for me to say, you need to, your goal is to assess 10 proposals or 15 proposals. We don't have this number. It's just, I mean, you can assess how many proposals you want to, or you have time to do so. So it doesn't matter if you just assess 1 or 100 or 200, it's up to you.
On your last comment about choosing which proposals, I know this has been kind of a topic of discussion, but what is the current incentive structure? Is it quality over quantity right now?
Yeah, I think I'm going to talk about this in 2 or 3 slides. So
okay, sorry.
No worries.
Don't apologize, you're being keen.
Okay, so this slide is just an introduction to IDScale. I believe most of you are already familiar to IDScale, and this is the, not sure if the only one, but the main official platform for Catalyst. Here is where all the proposals submit their ideas, their proposals, and also where the CAs have to submit their assessments. And all the information there is checked by IUG. And so basically you can be sure that all the information there is accurate. We also have some other community made websites, but some of them are sometimes not so up to date, and this doesn't happen here with IDScale. At least that's what we expect to happen. Does anyone here doesn't have an account here in IDScale, or are you all familiar with this? Yeah, good. So getting to some details about assessing the proposal, there are three criteria that the CAs need to evaluate the proposals. The first one is the impact. The second one is the feasibility, and the third one is clarity or auditability. It's the same criterion. And assess the proposal at the end. What it means? It means to give a 1 to 5 stars score. and also a rationale or explanation justifying why that score was given. So you need to, for example, check if the impact of this proposal is very low or very high, and decide if you're going to do, if you're going to give a 1 star or 5 stars to that proposal, and also explain why you are rating the proposal like this. There are some guidelines. This is the official one, the Community Advisor Assessment Guide. I'm going to open it here to show to you. So there are some guiding principles on how to assess the proposals. Also, then the score criteria for regular challenges, the scoring criteria for community challenge setting challenges. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a bit. Some definitions about quality assessment, what is examples of inadequate assessment, and statements as well, and what happens next after the assessments are done. And also some information about the changes from previous funds. This is not so relevant if you're not interested to know how this is evolving, but it's good to know and to at least to see how things improve fast over here. So this is also a good reference. Not going to go through all the document here, but you can just click on the link in the presentation and check it out. But I'm going to go through some more details here in a bit as well, as we move to the review of assessments stage. Also, there is another good reference, which is the voter tool. It is a community-made tool that was developed 3 funds ago, I believe, by Lucho, who is here with us today. We created the AIM team. We built some tools for the community, and this is one of the tools that we built. The idea is to make it easier to navigate, to find different proposals, and also to check some information that's not provided in the voting app itself. For example, the assessments that the CAs gave to each of the proposals. For example, here we can click, but also this is not just yet so up to date. We just have the proposals from Fund 6 and also Fund 5 and Fund 4, but this is going to be updated before the voting phase of Fund 7. But you can use it already to check assessments from previous funds. For example, if I click here in Developer System, this first proposal, AI App Builder, you can see that just one review was given to this proposal. Usually we aim at least 5 assessments, but we cannot every time get 5 assessments per proposal minimum, and some of them are removed, some are blank, and some are not appropriate. So this one, for example, at the end ended up with just one review. But you can read how this CA evaluated this proposal based on each of these criteria. This first question here is the impact. Second one is the feasibility, and the third one is the auditability. That now in Fund 7 it's called clarity and auditability. And you can see that the CAs the VCAs actually rated this assessment as good. So if we open another one, let's check this one that has 7 assessments. This one was good, good, good as well, good. This one was rated as excellent by the veteran community advisors. So you can look for these kind of assessments here and check the proposal as well and see what kind of information they provided, how they assessed the proposals, to learn and try to make also excellent assessments. If that's your goal as well, you can aim to give more assessments that are good, that are not so deep, or you can aim at providing less assessments but with higher quality and to receive higher rewards for them. But it also takes more time. So there is this balance here that you need to find it. You need to check what works best for you as well. Any questions here?
I have a question on when you are rating them, does it have an effect on where it's listing it? So like higher rated proposals get brought to the top, or are they all equal in nature and maybe alphabetical or something?
No. In the voting app, which is where the voting officially happens, they are listed, they are ranked by the score. So first one is the one that received the highest score, 5 or 4.9, whichever is the highest one in that challenge, and so on. So it has this influence, how easily they are going to appear to the voters at the end.
Okay. And as far as the assessments itself, does that change how it's viewed by the assessors as well, similar to the voters?
By the assessors, no, they actually, you mean the veteran community advisors? If they.
Oh, no, you're right. Never mind. You can't see the others' assessments until this stage is
Yeah.
over. So I apologize. Never mind.
Yes, no worries. No worries. Yep, that's it.
Is there a limit on the number of excellence we can rate?
No, no limit.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, as a community advisor, you are not going to rate as good or excellent. This is what the veteran community advisors are going to do later on.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
You're just going to
Understood.
rate the score from 1 to 5 based on each of the criteria.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions here? Moving on. So the description of each of these criterion is very detailed there in that document that I just presented. You should read it at least once. I would suggest to read it frequently as you are still learning how to be a CA. But there are some guiding questions that you can have in your mind at the same time that you are reading the proposal, just to try to identify different topics or different parts of the proposal that could be improved or that are excellent, are very good, that are going to influence how you score, how you rate this proposal at the end. For example, the impact is basically related to the challenge alignment. Every proposal is submitted to a specific challenge, so you need to check if this proposal is aligned to the challenge or not. And also how this is going to add value to the Cardano ecosystem, how many people are going to be impacted by the proposal at the end, if it's everyone or with a low impact or a small group with high impact, and also what's the ability to scale of this proposal after it's done, after it's finished, because the proposal has a limited time to be developed and for the results to be delivered. So you have to keep in mind if this proposal is likely to be scaled up, if it can be, if its impact can be improved later on. So all of these go under the impact criterion. The second one is the feasibility. So it's just what is the success likelihood of this proposal? So what do you need to keep in mind here? First thing, at least that I do, is to check who are in the proposing team and if they are capable or not to deliver what they are promising in the proposal. So, for example, if someone is proposing to develop a decentralized exchange, I expect them to have some technical background in any blockchain language, any programming language related to Cardano, for example. if they don't have any of this knowledge, any of these background in their team, I don't think that's a feasible proposal. Or at least they need to say that they are going to hire someone, or they are already, for example, interviewing people to be able to work on this. So if you think about some other proposals, for example, someone who is proposing to translate content from English to, let's say, Russian, you expect him to speak Russian. So these are the kind of things that you should pay attention for when assessing feasibility. Some other things to look out for are the plan, a roadmap. If they clearly defined what are the steps that they're going to do in order to achieve their final goal and to deliver the result of the proposal after all, and also what's the time frame. Is it going to take 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? And also check the budget to see if the budget is appropriate or not. Same example, if you think about a tax and they are asking for $1,000, obviously it's not enough to deliver, so feasibility would be lower in this case. And also if it's too much, if they're asking for money to translate, I don't know, one PDF that's 10 pages long, and they're asking for $50,000, it also doesn't make sense. It also affects the feasibility, in my opinion, I would say. And also, if there are some risks related to the development of this proposal, and if they are mapped or not, if they are taken into consideration. For example, if someone wants to build a DApp to work with some government body, there is the risk that the government body is not going to accept blockchain, is not going to accept cryptocurrencies. So these kind of situations need to be mapped and taken into consideration in their roadmap as well. Ideally, they would have to have a plan B just in case something like this happens. Also, this doesn't apply to most of the proposals. I wouldn't say most, but at least some of them is not applicable. Some are just easy. There are no such big risks. So it's not necessarily something that should be included in a proposal, but in many times it's good to have, or a must have in some cases. And the last criterion is the clarity or auditability, which is basically evaluation if the proposal and the proposing team, if they share enough information for the community to follow up with the progress of this proposal after it's funded. And this is mainly for audit reasons, since once the proposal is funded, they don't receive the money all at once. They receive it every month, but based on the progress that they've done since the last month. So the proposers have to report twice a month. They have to provide 2 different reports, one for KPIs and one for general progress. And these reports are they are checked against these KPIs and roadmap and milestones that the proposers provide in their proposals. So it's important that they provide the roadmap, they provide KPIs, they provide specific dates for partial deliveries, for example, deliverables, for example. And yeah, these are the information on the clarity and auditability. Ways for the community to follow up and check that the proposal is actually being developed and the progress is being done. Any questions here? Yeah, thanks for your KPIs, mean key performance indicator. Yeah.
What role actually is that verifies that they're meeting their KPIs after the fund itself?
Yeah, until now, it's IOG's job. They are keeping track of the funded proposals. They are receiving the reports, the progress reports, KPI reports, and they are checking them against the provided information in the proposal. So if someone's not matching their goals, they are not receiving the money for that month. But it doesn't mean that they are not going to receive at all. It's just delayed 1 month until they prove that they're making some progress. But currently there is an initiative that IUG wants to hand this work over to the community. So there is a group that's working together already with some people from IOG and some people from the community that are creating some new processes to do this in an efficient way, because we are having now hundreds and hundreds and very soon thousands of proposals being funded. So we need to create a process to be able to check everything. And I believe that in the future, this is going to be almost like a job. Someone's going to be working full time on checking the progress of these proposals.
And in fact, there is a specific challenge for this, the auditability challenge, because they are trying to collect more ideas or project to achieve this kind of community auditability process. Because in the end, the final goal is to have something completely decentralized to achieve this.
So if I wanted to follow up to see how I could get involved, I should probably follow that challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I believe that in the near future, there is going to be an announcement about this officially, because this started, I would say, less than 2 months ago, this initiative with a group of people from the community and IOG working together. They're still building the basic structure on how this should work. And once they have some results, they're going to share with the community as well, and see if there are more people who are interested in working with them on this.
And also another way probably to be involved in the auditability process is to be in a challenge team, because basically now there is these teams formed by the community that they own basically the challenge. So they are responsible to present the challenge at the beginning of the fund. And later, when there will be funded projects, they have to coordinate these funded projects and also track this progress and this auditability process. So probably this is the best role actually open to be involved in this part. Even it is just the first iteration of this role, so it's really not really clear what are the duties, but probably this is the main idea is to have these challenges with this challenge team that basically they control the progress of the projects after the funding.
Which actually brings up a good question I've had is, I'm kind of a member of a couple of challenge teams. However, I've noticed a lot of the meetings are at the same time. Are other people able to participate in multiple challenge teams, or is it designate or designed that way so that you can focus on a single challenge team during the fund?
As I said, this is an experiment. It's the first iteration this time. So I don't know. I think that this overlap, it's kind of the consequence of this first iteration. But I imagine that in an ideal form, there will be people only in a specific challenge, and obviously they can coordinate these kind of things only for their own challenge. But as I said, it's and it is not a rule now, so it's kind of open to your initiative. So there is nothing wrong to being in multiple challenge teams now.
Thank you.
So any other questions so far, Patrick or Luke?
Well, basically, I have to get my hands ready to really do it first, and then when I encounter problems, then I'll know what I need to ask.
Sure, sure. You can always come to the next CA session as well, or ask for individual support using the request form. So, yeah, feel free to do that. Okay, so talking about rewards now. Every fund, 4% of the total budget of a challenge, also of the fund, in this case now in Fund 7, the total budget, I'm sorry, it should be, let me write it here. Now in Fund 7. Yeah. Now in Fund 7, the total budget for the fund, for the whole fund is $8 million. And 4% of this budget is allocated to community advisors. So now in this case, $320,000 are allocated to community advisors. And these are distributed to all of them. So based on how your assessment is classified by the VCAs in the following phase, they can be classified basically as excellent, good, or filtered out. And if it is filtered out, which means that it's not written according to the guidelines, or it's offensive, or it has any other kind of red card, I would say, then it's filtered out, it's removed from the final score, and you don't receive any rewards for that. It can then be classified as good or excellent, and if it's classified as excellent, then you are going to receive 3 times more rewards than just good assessments. It doesn't mean that you only have to make excellent assessments. You can aim for quantity over quality. It's basically your strategy, how you prefer to do that. You can also aim for quality over quantity, which I prefer, I would say. I think it's more time efficient because it takes almost the same time to read the proposal. You're just going to spend maybe twice the time writing the assessment itself, when it can be excellent instead of good, and receive 3 times more money for doing that. So at least personally, that's what I prefer to aim for. And based on current numbers, it's very difficult to say exactly how much rewards we are going to receive per assessment. But doing an estimation, if we had approximately 1,000 proposals at the end, after we filtered some withdrawals and some proposals that are going to be removed, and if we also aim at having at least 3 good assessments and 2 excellent assessments per proposal, then these are the final numbers. Each good assessment we receive approximately $35, and each excellent assessment is going to receive $106, which is a lot in my opinion. And I think these will attract a lot more CAs very soon, because especially in some places outside the US and outside Europe, this is a lot of money. But after all, this money can increase or decrease depending on the total number of assessments, because we are aiming at 5 here to do this calculation, but we can have 10, 15, 20. I believe we had one proposal in Fund 6 that received almost 30 assessments. So in this case, the number of rewards, the amount of the rewards are much lower, because the rewards are allocated per proposal, not per assessment. So the ideal number is 5 assessments per proposal, but after that, there's no limit. And there are some bonus rewards for approved proposals as well. And approved means that it received 15 more yes than no's during the vote phase. As I mentioned, the voters can vote for or against any proposal, and if there are 15% more for than against, then it's approved. It doesn't mean that it's funded, it just means that it's approved by the community. If it receives less than that, then it's not approved, and even if there is budget available to pay for that proposal, it's not going to receive anything because it was not approved. So if you assess a proposal that's approved, at the end, then you are going to receive these bonus rewards, and they are proportional to the budget of the proposal as well. So if you look, if you find a proposal that has a high budget and you believe that it has also a high chance of being approved by the community, then you can assess it if you are looking for these bonus rewards specifically. I'm not going to show all the details here, the numbers, the calculations, because it's a bit too complicated, but at the end of this presentation, there are some more details if you want to go through all the numbers. Those examples are using Fund 6 numbers, but the logic is the same that's going to be applied now in Fund 7. Any questions here?
I kind of missed the proposal you said. If there were 5 reviews, 5 assessments, after that, then so the ideal assessments for each proposal is 5, and after that it doesn't matter. What does that mean?
It's not that it doesn't matter, it's just that it doesn't have a limit. Maybe I can show you here. I'll skip to the slides at the end very quickly just to show the example. So these are numbers from Fund 6. So the budget allocated for each proposal is $160, was $160. So it fits actually 2 excellent or 3 good assessments. You can see that 1 excellent fits 3 good assessments. Or you can fit 3 excellent or 9 good. Actually, all of these are fit into the budget of the proposal, of the rewards of the proposal. But if you have more than that, for example, if you have 2 excellents and 3 and 5 good, then we are over budgeted in this proposal specifically. And then there is a lottery system that it's used. Each excellent assessment receives 12 lottery tickets. Each good assessment receives 4 lottery tickets, and at the end, they are going to receive a little less rewards, each one of them. So it's not that number that I presented previously, but individually they are going to receive a little bit less.
Thank you.
This is a little bit complicated, but you don't need to understand it completely. You just need to focus on assessing and making good assessments and excellent assessments.
So the way I would understand that is it's an incentive to push people out instead of focusing on a small handful, which then pushes them to the top of the list for the voters, so that everybody gets some sort of assessment.
Yeah. So we try to get at least 5 assessments per proposal by doing this, because it's better not to rely on a single CA to provide a score for a proposal. So this is a way to try to distribute the workload between different proposals instead of focusing on easier, shorter, or for some reason highlighted proposals. So coming back, yeah, any other questions?
So that budget, it doesn't matter whether but the proposal itself is wins the voting. That budget is allocated for every single proposal, and then it's just a bonus on top if it happens to get voted in.
Yeah. Out of these $320,000, 80% are distributed equally amongst all the proposals, and 20% are distributed for the approved proposals. proposals. So these are the bonus.
Thank you.
Any other questions here? So how the VCAs review the assessments at the end? They're going to check mainly these 5 criteria. I'm not going to go into much details here. These criteria are very well described in the assessment guide. I'm going to show it in a minute. But the criteria are positive feedback loop, CA contemplation of their own ability to assess a proposal, and this doesn't have to be explicit. You don't have to write, I am a developer with 10 years of experience, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to write that. It's just that the VCA is going to realize that you know what you are talking about. You're just not talking some random thing just to make an assessment. Third one is scoring against challenge criteria. If DCA explains in detail why he believes that this proposal is or isn't aligned with the challenge. An overall opinion about the proposal made by DCA, and also how DCA assessed the accountability to the community. So if we go to that document that I just presented previously, you can check here at the end definitions of a quality assessment. So you can check why each of these criteria is important, and also what defines if they are if they should be categorized as excellent or as good. So you have this for all 5 different criteria: positive feedback loop, CA's ability to assess proposals, CA scoring against the challenge criteria, opinion on the proposal overall, and accountability to the community. So for this, it's something that you should study. You don't need to understand this completely, because this is more for VCAs at the end, but it's better if you as a CA also understand how you are going to be assessed afterwards. And there is also something different here that I didn't mention before, is that we have this special challenge inside the Catalyst process, which is the community challenge setting. And the idea here is that the proposers are actually challenge proposals. The proposers submit their ideas of what challenges should be included in the following fund. For example, let me open here IDS Clio. It's easier to present it. So we are now in Fund 7, and this is the Fund 8 challenge setting. So all the proposals submitted here are suggestions for challenges in Fund 8. So these are not regular proposals. People who submit here are not going to receive the money that they are asking for. This money is going to be allocated for this challenge in the following fund. So you should not assess this proposal as a regular proposal in a regular challenge. This is like a sort of a special challenge inside Catalyst. So you can read the challenge, the campaign brief here to see how it works. And if you browse the ideas here, you can check that they are, some of them are the same as the challenges that we have now in Fund 7, and the challenge team or someone else just submitted again the same proposal because they want to see this challenge again in Fund 8. For example, Grow Latin America, Grow Cardano. This would be a new one. And if you open some of them, let's open first one here, Latin America, Grow Cardano. you're going to see that it's a bit different than a regular challenge. And the money that they ask for at the end, for example, here, $400,000, this is not the money they're asking for themselves. It's the money that's going to be allocated for this challenge in the following fund. And the criteria that needs to be used to assess these proposals is also a little bit different. First one is not impact, it's actually alignment. And you're going to assess if this challenge is aligned to Cardano's mission. Second one is feasibility, which is a little bit similar, but is mainly if you believe that the Cardano community is currently prepared to come up with good proposals to be submitted in this challenge. And the last one is verifiability, if the proposers of this challenge included enough information for this challenge to be assessed in the future, because we not only assess if the proposals are being successful, but we also evaluate if the challenge is successful or not. So for this first one, the alignment, what you need to check for Fund 8, these are the goals. The first one is that we want to prepare a group of people willing and able to make contributions to the Cardano ecosystem. Second one is to turn Cardano into an open source project. And third one is accelerate the growth and evolution of developer and app ecosystem. And yeah, these are the main differences between assessing a regular proposal in a regular challenge and submitting and assessing a proposal for a challenge in the following fund. And there is a video here by James from Gimba Labs. He also mentioned some important things that you should keep in mind when assessing these proposals under the challenge setting challenge. So it's good for you to watch as well. It's not too long. I think it's between 5 and 10 minutes. Yeah, and I think that's it mostly. Here are some channels. If you are not in here by now, you can join the main Catalyst Discord, the main Catalyst Telegram group, the Community Advisors Telegram group as well, and the Catalyst School Discord server. We announce every week our workshops, our sessions, and other things, other events that are going on, so you can join us there. And Lucho, would you like to present the CA tool?
Yes, of course.
Stop sharing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, the first thing that I want you to show is basically what is in a practical way, how basically you will submit the assessments. You will be in IdeaScale. This is a sandbox. What are you seeing now? So basically, it's not the official IdeaScale, but it is used just for test. But the structure is quite the same. So basically, at the end of the proposal, there will be a tab, activity, and you will have basically this form, assess, and this is the way you will submit an assessment. So you can choose the starts from the various criteria. This is the first one about the impact, and you can add an assessment note. So basically, you are writing here your rationale for the assessment. You have to do that for the 3 criteria. So basically, you have always to set a score and submit provide a rationale. And because if you submit a partial assessment, it will be excluded later. So it's important to complete the whole assessment. And so basically, this is the experience that you are going to see in idea scale. And this is the only way to submit the assessment. So keep it clear, idea scale, it's your goal. I made this introduction because I will show you a tool that basically can help you to choose the various proposals that you want to assess, and it can also use to basically organize better your work for the assess stage. Here is the link. For now, the data that are you seeing are not up to date because they are not finalized yet, the proposal, but you can give it a try and familiarize to it. So basically you have the home page here, and with this button, suggest button, the tool will suggest you the proposal ordered by the number of assessments that they received. So basically you will see at first the proposals with the lower number of assessments. This is a way to basically spot the assessments that the proposal that are not yet assessed by the others. So you have an higher chance to get rewarded for it. And also this is a way to basically better distribute the workload between the various CAs. You have here some filter, so you can filter basically by challenge. So if I, for example, selected boosting Cardano DeFi, only the proposals that are part of this challenge will show up. You can also add multiple challenges, and maybe the next one is a community events proposal. You will see here some basic information. So the problem statement, solution, the relevant experience, the requested funds, and as I said, the number of assessments that this proposal received. Okay, so this is the first basically feature, just to select the proposals that you want to assess, but then you can create an assessment. So you click on this button, and this is a warning that just to be clear that you are not submitting the assessments through the tool, but you have to copy paste everything in idea scale. But the interface, it is probably better within the tool than the one that I shown you before. So basically you have here the 3 criteria. You can set here the rating, so 1 to 5 star. You can, as again, just write your assessment, and you also have here a button to see some guiding question. So you can basically self-evaluate your assessment, and basically this is like an inspiration of some topic that you have to cover when you are writing the rationale for a specific assessment. So you can basically, I don't know, have some guiding question to write your rationale. You can do it for every assessment, for every criteria, sorry. And you have here this button to copy paste the rationale. So basically when I wrote the rationale for the impact, I copy paste, I open idea scale, and I'll paste it here. This is the workflow that we prepared. After I copy paste everything, I can click this button here that basically it's a confirmation that I assessed the proposal and copy paste everything on idea scale. Everything is saved in the browser, so you don't have your anonymity is not disclosed in any way. It's just saved in the local storage, and after that you can just go on and assess another proposal. Here at the top you can see a button, My Assessment, with a number indication, and this is basically the summary of the assessments that you already prepared in the tool. And as I see, there is a recap, like submitted to idea scale, because I checked the checkbox there. Also the assessment completion. So I basically prepared all the stars, all the ratings and all the rationale. And I can access here and maybe edit it or delete it. And there is also another function to basically export this assessment. So you will have a CSV, a file that you can use for yourself to keep the things organized. And you can also use this CSV to re-import later the assessment. So maybe it's a good way to save your own work because everything will be only on the browser. So if you have to move computer or device, you can always export and re-import the assessment. Another cool things in the tool is this button here, basically with the example assessments. So what you have seen before in the voter tool, it's quite similar, but this is a selection of the excellent assessments from the Fund6. So you have here a long list of really high quality assessments, and this can be used as a guide for you to have more information on how basically an assessment should be. And there is also some resources here, like the onboarding document, a tutorial video from Dominic, the assessment guide that Victor showed you before, and also the link to the Telegram chat. And basically that's it. Okay, there is also a way to explore the proposals by a list. So instead of suggesting a single proposal one by one by clicking the button, you can see here the complete list of all the proposals. If you have any question.
And you said that data that you input in this CA tool is just stored in the browser. It's not actually submitted anywhere.
Yes, exactly. Because this is really important. It's, I don't know, I wrote it in the tool many times, but it's really important because at the moment we don't have an API access to IdeaScale. So there is no way to just publish, submit these assessments directly in IdeaScale. But I don't know, the user interface of IdeaScale, it's really bad. So I think probably it is just another way to get organized for the assessments. Obviously, this is not mandatory. You can, I don't know, use your own style if you want. I don't know, use a Google Sheet, something like that. The important thing is whatever you will use. In the end, you have to copy paste everything to IdeaScale.
Okay. And that used to be mobile only. Has that, I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up with the conversation, but is that still mobile only?
Sorry, mobile?
The voting, well, you're right. This is the CA assessment side, but the voting used to be mobile only.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the voting app is basically always connected to the App Store or the Play Store. So you'll need a mobile phone basically to vote.
Okay. But the CA is done here in IdeaScale. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Basically, all the first stages of the process happens in IdeaScale, and only the last one, the governance stage, is on the voting app. So. Any other question?
No, that's good. Not from me, guys. Thank you. The questions that did spring up to mind during the course of it, I let you run through your presentation and I covered it. So thank you for so I answered a lot of questions that I did have over the time considering considering it, but yeah, I'm happy to give it a try, and I'll catch you in the Discord and Telegram.
Good. It could be scary at the beginning because it's kind of, I don't know, a complicated process, but it's really the best way is just to try. You will find, I don't know, it's really important to understand that you can learn a lot because you were reading a lot of proposals, so you will have a lot of good inspiration also for your projects. And I don't know, every assessment after assessment, it will be easier probably to assess the proposal because you will find easily the various criteria in the proposals. So it's kind of, give it a try. Don't be scary.
Thanks, Lucho.
Is there a specific place we can go to for the entire breakdown of the timeline? I know you said December 9th is when proposal starts, and I think you mentioned 5 days after that, something else occurs. Is there like a central location I can go for all that information?
Yeah, let me just find here. I'm not sure.
I think you can find it under Cardano Catalyst under funds. And then there's a time schedule where the
There's some,
schedule of everything is.
yeah, there are some places. Let me share the screen here.
See resources and tools.
Can you see my screen?
Okay, so idea skill. Okay.
So this is one of the places where you can check the timeline. Under any of the challenges, you can see the timeline. We are here in this finalized, it expires 9th December, which means that the next phase starts right after this date. So from 9 to 16 is the assessment week, then the QA phase, which is basically when proposers and then VCAs review the assessments. It goes from 16th until 6th January.
This is wrong, I think.
Is this wrong?
Yeah. Okay, no, sorry. It expires. Okay, no. So sorry, I read it wrong.
Okay. And you can also check here in share the link.
And I'm sorry, I didn't quite
yes.
grasp during the governance phase, does the CA,
Doesn't do anything.
oh, gotcha, okay.
So you're here in the finalize phase, then the assess phase, and then the QA, then governance, voting, etc.
And did you say that the CA plays a role in the governance phase itself?
No, not
Okay.
actively. The CAs influence the governance phase, but based on the work they've done during the assessment phase. They don't have to do anything else during the governance phase.
Okay.
So basically, the only active week for a CA is the next one from the December 9th.
To the 16th or something. Okay.
Yep. That's it. And this is the end of the workshop for today. Do you have any further questions?
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Victor,
Enjoy
thank you.
the day.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
See you around.
And obviously, if you have any other question in the Discord, in Telegram, you can contact us whenever you want.
Yes, thanks, guys. See you.